Sean here. I'm in the car, and this started off as a different video, but one of the things that I can say without a shadow of a doubt is that Cyraxx has never had anyone give him any lesson on life. I try to teach my son things all the time. I'll joke around and I'll be like, look son, rule number one, bitches can't be trusted. It's just dad to son. He laughs and he's like, okay, I remember that. But I tell him, one of the things I talk about is long distance relationships. Relationships where you are not in the vicinity of each other, where you can see each other multiple times a week. Distrust comes into every situation like that, but more importantly, if you've been in a long-term relationship with someone, you have a lot of baggage. You've had a lot of arguments, most likely. And if you hadn't had any arguments, then your romance is not as passionate as it probably should be. Anyway, I'm not saying arguments are great. I'm saying they're normal and expected. That person gets to a new location, new romance. Let me back up. New environment, new people to meet, new experiences, new people trying to win them over, new excitement, new romance. And any baggage you had, that's what's going to be remembered. Unfortunately, the negative things will pop up more. It's just the way of life. Sure, in the beginning you think about, oh, you know, their sweet face, how much you miss them. But when you're around new and happy experiences, it's going to seem better than what you have. My daughter was dating someone and they were in the ROTC and they moved. And I tried. She didn't listen. And it ended up in a heartbreak. Her first real long-term boyfriend ended up in heartache. She was basically crippled for a few days, stayed with her mom, cried a lot. It was devastating, and as a father, I've been there, so my first instinct was not to go and just break this person in half. It was to sympathize, and I also knew that she was with mom, give her some space, and don't talk about it unless she wants to talk about it. Because in the past, hey, heard you broke up with Bill, you know, to your friends, female or male, and just, oh great, you brought it up again. I'll never forget, Hard Rock Higdon, he and his wife had been together for a long time. They were co-promoters, and they divorced. But I hadn't spoken to him in about 6 months. You know, he's one of those friends you talk to, you instantly reconnect, you're best friends again, but you both have lives. So when you catch up, it's exciting. And I brought it up, hey man, is Vanessa gonna be there? Oh, we got divorced. And I was like, oh shit. So he told me about it. Hard Rock's such a good guy, man. He's such a wonderful human being that he understood what it meant. He was moving on. His son was like the most important thing in his life, and I wish you could meet him. You have to understand he really is one of the best human beings ever. If you come to one of the shows and you come up to me and you say, hey man, we have a show in Bowling Green in September. It's at the Sloan Convention Center. Hard Rock will be there. He's the promoter. I'll introduce you. You'll instantly go, yeah, this dude's cool. So what does this have to do with Chancy Food? All of Cyraxx's relationships are long distance. If you're online only and they're in the same city, but you never see them, it's the same thing. Online relationships are dangerous. There's a really good chance you're only going to present the best parts of you. Not the real you, not the parts that are confrontational. You know what I mean. And when you meet in real life, it's going to be magical and so happy. And then the first time a confrontation happens, it's probably over. I've heard discussions about people leaving the other person because of who they voted for, which is, if that's you, so be it. But you're also a psychopath. And if that's the only thing you judge anyone on, you got a problem. And I'm not going to diss somebody because of the music they like, who they voted for, because that doesn't define them. With Cyraxx, what defines him are his actions, what he's done in the past, which should be a clue. If you're Cyraxx and what you've done is out there and that many people hate you, you should understand that someone is going to see that and not want to have anything to do with you. He will never have a relationship until he admits what he's done and tries to make amends. But it appears that just the other day, there was a post that he got caught talking to another minor. He hasn't changed. Imagine being in a relationship. This is why I feel sometimes for the TCAP, like Anthony Palumbo. Not only was he outed on television, he's in an Italian family, and I don't know if you've ever been a part of an Italian family. My biological family is Italian, and mistakes, they tend to affect everybody in the family. So Palumbo was outed as a PDF and as gay. A double whammy, and that probably ripped that family apart. That scandal did. So imagine being with Cyraxx, and he pulls one of the shenanigans, right? To him, it's not a big deal. He expects you to forgive him immediately. He's going to lie to you and tell you that he didn't know. And he's not going to understand when the woman wants to leave. And he's going to get violent, like he has in the past. He's going to get possessive and psychotic. He's going to have his mom get involved. She's probably going to block the door like they probably would have last time with Heather or whoever it was. He's also not going to understand why they don't understand. Because he would be like, oh, okay, as long as I'm getting some, I don't really care. No, that's not true. He'd be the guy that would go to strip clubs and, cheat on somebody and then get mad when the woman says that another man is attractive. Boy, this took a dark turn. He's also the kind of guy that if a woman came home he was with, or man, because we know Cyraxx, he's bi, he'll try anything. If they came home from work and they had a shitty day and there was somebody that was really rude to them to the point where they were crushed, as a partner, as someone in a relationship, a husband, wife, fiance, whatever, it's better to listen and not demonize the other person. How many people do you know that have heard somebody that hurt you and then started going off about them and talking about how they want to kick their ass? Now they have to worry about you and how you're going to interact with them, and they don't want to talk about them because that person is the problem, and you won't shut up long enough to listen to them and say that situation is messed up. And you talk about the situation and you talk about what happened, not who the person is. Unless, you make that off comment, yeah, that guy sounds like a dick. And then just or that woman sounds like a bitch. And just let it drop right there. Cyraxx is not going to. He's going to be the hero. I'm going to whoop that ass. I'm going to start handling him and fuck that guy. And the woman's probably going to go, look, just let it drop. Imagine you're having a shit day. You come home and you have to tell your partner, let it drop. Just let it go. You're telling them to let it go. So not only did you have that situation happen to you, now you're having to deal with that situation at home and somebody potentially making it worse, and you have to be the adult and say, just let it go. Unfortunately, that happens quite a bit. None of this was taught to Cyraxx. None of this. Ed, Sally, whoever else, security Jake, when he was the nail and Jake was the hammer. And if that's true, if that really did happen, then Cyraxx was used as a human fleshlight, which is basically what Lauren thinks of all women as, just a human fleshlight. I have to say this, imagine using Cyraxx for anything where you would have to have physical. Gross. You can date somebody, I believe this, that you're only slightly physically attracted to if they fulfill every other need that you have. Somebody who'll listen, somebody who cares about you. Unfortunately, a lot of times you'll see somebody hot, they show some interest, and you're like, oh, I gotta ride that, roller coaster. That's why Cyraxx is so desperate. He'll have one, feel the security of having that person at home, and then go and try to fulfill his sexual needs. If you've ever been treated like that, you're a human being, and I do care about you, even though I don't know you. You need to leave that situation. The ultimate disrespect is someone going and deciding, and then gaslighting you, and trying to get back with you, and, well, I love them. No, you shouldn't. You could feel love for somebody, but if you're not in love with them, get the fuck out. If you're the person who cheated, you're going to be thinking all the time, this is what Cyraxx doesn't understand. about, well, if they cheated on, if I cheated on them, what if they try to get me back? And every time they talk to a man, you're going to be like, or a woman, you're going to be like, oh crap, is there something going on there? Because I did it, they're doing it. And then if you're the person who was cheated on, are they going to do it again? I'm constantly worried that they're showing some of the similar behavior. They're working late, and even if they're working late for a reason, you're going to be like, oh, are they really working late? Are they really going out with their friends? Do you hear, are they whispering on the phone, or are they just trying not to disturb me? I'm telling you, it's jacked. And Cyraxx doesn't understand how devastating that would be to a partner, to cheat on them and have them in a constant state. They're on guard all of the time. The insecurity that brings, the strife, the conflict. It's not a healthy relationship. It never will be. Get the fuck out. But Cyraxx has no problem with that. He'll just cheat on everybody. He'll cheat on the person that he's cheating on another person with. Lauren was the same way. Somebody finally paid him some kind of attention. He felt safe and secure. I need to feel secure. You need to make me feel secure. Call me 24 hours a day and tell me that I'm the only person and that you're not cheating on me. And then I'll tell you I don't believe you anyway. And then you have to argue with me until I believe that you really aren't. And I believe that people like Cyraxx and Lauren like to keep the partner angry and upset because they believe if they keep them in that state, they're not going to feel like they're going to cheat on them. I know I'm going way deeper than I fucking wanted to, but damn it, this whole thing, trying to have a relationship with somebody that's not built on trust and built on true compassion and caring, I would rather have somebody who likes me. Because when you like something, you're going to stick with it. When you love something, it's such a strong emotion. And when you base a relationship on love, when that goes away and there's nothing else, love is like obsession light, I would say. You're totally focused on them. Focus on me, precious. Lauren's chat log. You focus on them, your life is about them, your decisions involve them. But as I said, I would rather somebody care about me and like me. They want to be around me. They find my presence soothing. And you can love and have that same thing, but like is just so much better. I hope I explained that correctly. I hope I explained this correctly too. If all of your relationships are based on strong attachment, all of them, every single one of them is going to be a deep relationship right off the bat. You're going to expect, in most cases, you're going to expect the other person to be feeling the same thing and to show you the same form of attachment right off the bat. And what you got when you were 6 years into the last relationship, you're going to expect. Your experience may be different than the person you're with. And they're going to take it slow and just see how things go, and you're going to be attached, and the relationship is great. So if there's a breakup because they're not as attached to you, you're going to be devastated again. How many times has someone left you for 20% of what they're not getting? They get 80% of what they need, but they're not getting the 20% that they want. So they will try and go and get it from somebody else. And then you see them just as unhappy as they were at the time that you separated, because they don't appreciate what they fucking have. They don't. And if you're the 20%, how jacked up is that going to be? How are you going to feel? Because you're only going to get 20% of them. I hope that makes sense. Like these people who, Chris Watts and this other Chris guy, both bald, by the way, a bald guy named Chris, get the fuck out of that relationship. They murdered their wife to be with a mistress because it was new and it was exciting and they were getting that 20%, the thrill, and sex was new and it was great. It's basically like having a new car. It's just fucked up, man. And it's a sign of disrespect, and Cyraxx disrespects everybody. Never stay in a relationship where you're disrespected or you feel disrespected. And even if they tell you they're not disrespecting you, or your friends tell you, they can't They can't fix your feelings. They can't. There's no quick fix. There's only gaslighting yourself, like a woman in an abusive relationship does, more than men. They'll gaslight themselves into saying he's really a great guy and he's not always like this. That would be what it would be like if you were with Cyraxx. So never have a relationship with that goblin. Alright, I rambled. Hopefully I made some sense. I'll see you guys in the next one.
Hey, ain't gonna make sense to me, dude.